Welcome to my third video here. Today we're going to be switching it up a bit and switching over to the Java language. Java is my first language. It's something I have a lot of fun with. And I decided to do a problem I found on LeetCode.com. This problem is the Kids with Candies problem, and I'll describe it here. Given the array candies and the integer extra candies, where candies I represents the number of candies that the ith kid has. For each kid, check if there is a way to distribute extra candies among the kids such that he or she can have the greatest number of candies among them. Notice that multiple kids can have the greatest number of candies. Okay, so looking at example 1 here, we have the input candies. It's an array, an int array, 2, 3, 5, 1, 3. Then we have the other input parameter, extra candies, and that's equal to 3. Now the output, the return statement, needs to have this included in it. True, 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 false, and true. And let's look at why. So kid 1, which is the 2, he has 2 candies, and if he or she receives all extra candies, so all 3 of these, they will have 5 candies, and the greatest number of candies among the kid. The greatest or equal to the other 5 here. Kid 2 will have 3 candies, and if he or she receives at least 2 extra candies, they will have the greatest number of candies among the kids. So they'll have 6 candies, which means they'll have the greatest. Kid 3 will have 5. Kid 4, 1. And so kid 4 will be the only one who will be false, because 1 plus 3 is 4, and 4 does not beat the 5 candies or the 6 candies that this kid gets. And kid 5 has 3 candies, and so just like candy 2, they'll also, or kid 2, sorry, they will also pass. In case 2, you will see that in candies input of 4, 2, 1, 1, 2, and extra candies 1, the output here is going to be true because 4 plus 1 is 5, that's the most. Number 2, 2 plus 1 is false because that's no more than 4. 1, 1, false, false, and false. So only the one kid, the first kid, gets extra candy, or will have the most candies. Okay, and then example 3, 12 plus 10, of course it's going to be true. 1 plus 10 is not greater than 12, so it's false, and true. Okay, so down here I've already started our class, and this is a class called Kids with Greatest Number of Candies, and we have the method here called Kids with Candies. This method is going to return a boolean, or a list of booleans, sorry, and it takes 2 parameters, an int array of candies and an integer extra candies. So we will start this by creating a return list. This is going to be the return list of booleans, so it'll be a list boolean, and we will call it do they have most candy, and we'll call that a new list. Apologies. New list. Array list. There we go. Okay, so we have the array list. And after this, we're going to actually, what I'm thinking is we'll do a second method here to figure out what the most candies in the current int array is, in this current candies array is, what the most is, and then we'll put that into a variable here. So we'll put that integer most candies, and we'll make that equal to a method that we'll call right now. I will call it highest number of candies. And in this, we'll just take the candies array, and we'll create that down here. Okay, so this is going to take the candies int array, and it's going to return an integer that is the most candies in that array. So we'll call this private static. It's going to return an integer and highest number of candies, and it's going to take an int array of candies. Okay, now in here we're going to have an int max number equals 0, and then we're going to do a for loop, I equals 0, I less than candies dot length, and I plus plus. Okay, it's going to iterate through the candies array, int array, and we're going to be looking for the max number. So if candies I is greater than max number, then max number will become candies I. Okay, so now we have this method down here, highest number of candies, and that will return the highest number of candies in the candies array right here. And now we'll put that number into this integer variable here, most candies. Okay, so now that we know which child has the most candies, we can compare all the other children in this integer array, add the extra candies to their number of candies, and if they have greater than or equal to the most candies, then they will also have the most candies, and so they can be true. Otherwise, they'll be false in all of the cases. Okay, so for I, and here we're going to, so let me give us some space here. Okay, for I is going to be less than the candies dot length again, because we're going to go through the candy array, and we're going to say if candies I, we're going to go to each child in the array, and so let me just put this in parentheses, is greater than or equal to, or candies I plus extra candies. Put those inside, so it'll first add those two, and then it will say, okay, if that sum is greater than or equal to the most candies, then we will add to the array and sure, because they are greater than or equal to the most candies. So that means they also have the most candies in the group, or they are also a kid with the most candies. And then else, we will return, do they have most candy dot add boolean dot false. Okay, or else we'll add that. Okay, now we are going to, at the end of this, or outside of this for loop, we will return the do they have most candy Boolean list. Okay, so this should be our solution here. Looking at this, we can test this by, my apologies down here. I actually forgot to do the return here. We need to return max number. There we go. Apologies for that. Okay, then outside of this, we can actually create a public static void main. Oh, I don't know why I did that. There it goes. And in here, we can declare an int array. This would be our test candies array. And we'll set that equal to a new int array. Okay, so 5 test cases, 5 kids there. First kid has 3 candies, 5 candies, 3 candies, 1 candy, and 2 candy. And then the next thing will be the int test or extra candies. And now we'll set that equal to, in this test, equal to 3, or apologies, we'll set that equal to 2. So if this is equal to 2, then in this test case, we should return true for this, because 3 plus 2 is 5, which is equal to the max right now. This will also be true, and 5 will be true, but 2 will be false, and 1 will be false. So it'll be true, 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 false, false. Okay, and we'll do a Boolean list here. So a list of Booleans, and we'll call this test list. And that'll be equal to the kids with candies test candies array extra candies. Okay, so we put our 2 test data inputs into here, and later on perhaps I can show us how to use some JUnit testing, but this is another good way to test, is just to print out these. So we'll do a simple for loop for I, and we'll do I less than test list dot size. That's going to be less than the size of that list, and so it'll iterate through each element, and then we'll print that out to the console for us to see. So we'll print test list dot get I. Okay. So now we can run this, and it should be able to run. Okay. Okay, so here's our run here. And we'll see that in our case we were seeing true, 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 false, false. So that is the solution there. So once again, I'll scroll up just to see it. Basically, just grabbing the highest number of candies from that list or from that array of candies, checking if that each candy plus the extra candies is bigger than that most candies integer. If it is, you add that Boolean true, else you add false. Okay, thank you very much.